Hey guys, so I want to take you to the charts today and I want to show you three stocks that are extremely overbought right now. Okay, it's nicking up past that 70 on the RSI. Now, these are three stocks that I've been watching, and one you definitely probably been seeing in the news, and also another. But another one is one we might not hear too much about, at least me personally. I don't see too many people talk about it, but we are going to look at it. But for those of you who are new to the market, really quickly, let's go inside. Let's go inside. And we are going to look at what exactly the RSI is and exactly what does it indicate. So the first thing is this. It is a overbought and oversold indicator. And RSI stands for Relative Strength Index. Now let's look at what overbought means, okay? When the RSI goes above 70, it suggests that the stock has been moving up too far, too fast, and may be overbought. This is just basically saying it's getting to a point where it might start to get a bit of exhausted and it might start to come back down at any moment. Now, oversold. When the RSI gets below 30, it suggests that the stock has been moving down too far, too fast, and may be oversold and preparing to push back up. But this is the thing here, okay? We never know how long something is going to be overbought or oversold. So it's really good to look for some sort of indication that the thing is about to reverse. Now, this is the best time to pair the RSI with what's happening on those charts. And that is when it's getting to a heavy resistance or a heavy support. Now, let's come over here to the charts and we are going to look at those three stocks. And the very first one we're going to look at is Intel. Now, Intel has been in the news, of course, a lot. Probably, well, really starting like last year and coming on into 2026, okay? So let's look really quickly at this. Intel bought the remaining 49% stake in Fab 34 from Apollo Managed Fund for $14.2 billion, giving Intel full 100% ownership of the Fab 34 manufacturing facility. This next part, Intel joins Musk TerraFab to help design fab and package high-performance chips back in two Austin fabs and two NM work. Shares rose 4.2% to 52.91 after the announcement. Now, we closed out at 58.39. And so where it's headed is getting really close to a next level resistance up here at around 59.69. This RSI down here is sitting at 71.77. It's really beginning to push up there. So what we would want to see is how this thing reacts. If it decides it wants to push a little bit higher coming into tomorrow, see how it reacts at this resistance around 59.60, because it could indicate that this thing is ready to start making a move to the downside, okay? This area up in here around that 53, 54, it started breaking out of those resistance zones and pushing a little bit higher. So now I am watching this area up in here with 59.60 as that go-to level that I want to see if they're going to test. And with that RSI sitting up like that and us nearing this resistance, there could be a good chance we could find some opportunity to ride it down to some retest zone. And for Intel, the retest zone for me that I'm looking at is around $53.26. Let's go to this daily time frame so I can show you guys exactly why, which is this gap that we were left with from Tuesday and the price gapped up on today. And so retesting back to 53.26 could either be the opportunity that you could look for to make an entry ride it back up, or with the RSI sitting so high and overbought, we look for some rejection at around that 59 and where it's at and ride it back down to those lower support levels. But either way could work. Just be sure that you have enough confirmation before you make your move. Let's go to that second stock, and it is Marvell Technology. Now, if you've been keeping up with Marvell, you'll know that they receive billions in investment from NVIDIA, and so they have really been on a really nice run, and they finally broke above this resistance area that I've been kind of watching from early March at around $95.17. Okay, and so to bring you guys back a little bit, you can see where we have been playing along those lines for a while. This is October 2025. The same area leads into November. We gapped up, broke back down again, couldn't break over. Same thing here and here. And you guys see where we are right now. So the key thing here that I would love to see with this, so the RSI sent up at 72, giving a little bit higher than Intel, okay? So we are overbought. Now, the only thing with this one is that the resistance is sent up at around 127. But we're going to go to this weekly time frame and we're going to look at where they could be potentially targeting next in the next area that I'm watching, which is right around this area here at around 121.81. That's where I was looking to see if they were going to take it, see if we got some sort of rejection in that area. So what we want to see on tomorrow or the remaining of the week is see if they can test up there or up to 127 and see what the reaction look like. That could give us an opportunity to ride this thing back down to start retesting some lower levels, okay? But in the event that this thing decides that it wants to come back down, starts retesting some lower levels before getting up at that resistance, then we can look for some opportunity to kind of ride it back up and retarget. And so the area that I'm looking for a potential retest is honestly way back down at 102.77, around that area, or 95 for an even better opportunity. Now, I'm primarily a swing trader, so I'm okay with waiting for very heavy levels to retest before making a move. So just kind of keep that in mind as I explain these things, okay? So 102.77, 95.17 to the downside could definitely be a go. But if it thing decide that it wants to continue to push higher, 121, 127 will be the areas that I would most definitely be watching on this one. And this final one is Crocs. Now, I haven't talked about Crocs in a long time. Honestly, I don't think I've ever made any videos talking about Crocs, but I've talked about it a few times in my trading community. And this one here, of course, is one of those, I want to say like an underdog, but it's definitely one of those ones that we don't see so often or people too excited about it. But I actually like the stock. I have done a few swings on this thing for about 3 to 6 weeks on the expiration. I've traded it 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, probably in the last year or so. So I haven't been too heavy on it, but it definitely got my attention. Okay, so this one here is sitting up a bit higher than Intel and Marvell. This one is sitting at about 74, and you guys can see where we have some heavy rejection on this one, and that is at around 101.60. Okay, this here dates back to February 1, 2, 3. Let's see, mostly up in here. So you're looking at like 3 closer rejections up there to that 101.60 area, but overall, it's been holding below that point since February 2026. Okay, and so that's where we are potentially headed, and we want to see what that reaction looks like. Now, we closed out at around 96.14 on today, and you notice here too, for those of you who may not be familiar with the pattern, we have here a cup forming. So we could potentially begin ourselves a cup and handle here depending on how it plays out. And hitting back up there at that resistance could be forming out a secondary handle on this pattern. Long term wise, with me personally looking at this thing, I'm looking at anywhere between 2 to 6 weeks across the 3 of these stocks are my expiration to kind of let them play out once those levels are hit. And so I thought I would bring these 3 to you guys to kind of keep your eyes on and to keep them on the radar. And Crocs has a really nice setup here taking place, okay? And so with this here, we got this thing coming down. We see some rejection. If it does hit up at that 101, potentially see some rejection, ride it down to some of those lower levels, and kind of take profit, of course, when you are ready, or close your trade when you're ready. But make sure you got some targets for the bottom, okay? And just take into consideration the way that the stock move on a day-to-day basis. Not all stocks make $4, $5, $6 moves on the day. So you want to look at that stock and see what type of move does it make. What are its increments? So I know how long I will potentially need on my expiration to let it do its thing. So I hope you guys can take these three and find some opportunity in them. And I hope what I've shown you guys today, especially those of you who are new to option trading and new to these charts, hopefully you learned a little bit something with this RSI and how you can use it. Remember, the RSI is really great when you can pair it when this thing is hitting their support and resistance as some added confirmation. Okay, now if you want to grab everything you need to understand the stock market and option trading in notes form, wherever you may be seeing this video, you can find the link. If you're here on YouTube, then you can find it down below in the description. And with that, I will see you guys on those charts.